Welcome back to Terra by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, looking at some of the news today. There's stories out there. This one's on the Hill saying that Kamala Harris has pulled even alongside former President Trump in 7 key battleground states. Bloomberg News Morning Consult poll shows that Harris and Trump are in a tight race across all battleground states, with 48% backing Harris, 47% saying they would back Trump. Now, I don't know with this poll here what the criteria for the polls are. Are these likely voters? Are these all voters? It's 4,000 voters that they've looked at, or like 4,300 or something like that, to come up with these numbers. But can you trust the polls? I don't know. The polls don't seem to be accurate these days. So, is it good news? Is it nice to hear that she's pulled even with them? Sure. Is the reality? I mean, are they really that close to reality, or is she like way ahead of them, but the polls say they're close? I mean, remember. People pay for these polls, and then they do stuff with that information. And if it's corporate media that has it, they want a close race because that sells advertising spaces and keeps people riveted and gripped. But I'm just going to do a general reading on Kamala Harris in swing states. And how is her campaign doing in swing states? What's that energy looking like? Okay? Entertainment purposes only and all that. What do we got for Kamala Harris and swing states, battleground states? Knight of Wands as the foundation of the reading, making slow and steady progress, crossed with the Six of Cups. And I think that progress in some ways is like, hey, I'm a normal candidate. I've got some progressive ideas. I'm not soft on crime. I get things done. I've been a political candidate. You've seen me as senator. I've been a DA. I've been an attorney general in California, senator representing California. I've been the vice president. I've worked my way up through the ranks. It's a refreshing blast of normal. And underneath it all is that Four of Swords. I think people are enjoying the calm. It's no longer, the 81-year-old presidential candidate versus the 79-year-old presidential candidate. What you've got here is somebody who's younger, who has a plan, who fits the tradition of a good, solid presidential candidate. There's a lot to like with this candidate. In the past, you got the Emperor. And again, I think one of the things that will appeal, at least to the rural or Midwestern voters, is the fact that she has, she's been a district attorney. She's been an attorney general. She's not, and this is not to slam on AOC or any members of the squad, but she's not some, super ultra progressive out there with no life experience or little life experience. And again, I'm not trying to trash on AOC. I'm just trying to get into that mindset that somebody from rural America or the Midwest might look at a 30-year-old House of Representatives member who has ideals and just might dismiss them out of hand. They can't dismiss Kamala Harris out of hand. That's where I'm going with it. I have no problem with AOC having a huge role in government because I think she's right. She has great ideas, great energy, and it's going to really progress this country. Current situation is the Nine of Cups. Now, Kamala Harris is also, let's be real with ourselves. She's in a honeymoon period. She has been the Democratic candidate for a little over a week now. So, the attacks are starting from the childless cat lady attacks to Kamala sleeping her way to the top. And, the same BS that we heard when she was running 4 years ago. Maybe you guys didn't hear it, but I heard it through former Facebook friends and memes and stuff like that. It's just racist, misogynistic comments are starting to work their way out there again because it makes those very tender white males feel so much better about themselves because they're scared of a strong black woman. God help us all. Overarching energy is the King of Cups. No, she's out there with the message, but she and Biden together had a great message. And there is a lot to believe that Joe Biden had a lot to do with Kamala Harris being in this position, that he negotiated this before he stepped down from running for re-election. And probably behind the scenes, he's really pushing to help her along with this. She's the future. Lesson to be learned is the Page of Swords. Some folks have asked us, with all the volunteers with Kamala Harris, are you going to get some spies in there? Yeah, I don't really need to read on that because the same thing could be said for the Trump organization. Could you get a bunch of young Gen Zers and stuff like that in the Trump thing to torpedo Trump? Sure, why not? But no, the lesson we learned is the Page of Swords. She's just starting out this campaign. We are in the end of July. She's been going for a week. So far, so good. But that doesn't mean there aren't going to be bumps in the road. The outcome is going to be the Five of Swords. Things are probably going to start to get ugly real quick because battleground states they win you the election. So expect that the attack ads are going to come in fast and furious. But at the same time, Kamala Harris is the type of person who can handle attack ads. She can handle the controversy being thrown at her. She didn't get to where she was as a district attorney or an attorney general by rolling over and showing the belly the first time she meets up with any form of adversity. That Five of Swords is also, this is it for democracy. You want a representative democracy in 2025? You better vote blue. Because voting red's going to get you a dictatorship. I hate having to say that. I absolutely hate having to say that. But that's the reality that we live in. So, good energy on her. She's starting out. She's got a plan. Things are going to spice up. Because, of course, they are. They have to. The Republicans are on their heels. And the only thing they know how to do is attack. And again, they'll go after the easiest things. They'll go after her gender, and they'll go after her sexuality or her promiscuity. By the way, you have to run for office for DA. You have to run for office for Attorney General. You have to run for office to be a senator. You have to run to be, you have to do well in the primaries in order to be considered a VP pick. None of this was handed to her. She worked her butt off for that. And to say anything other than that is misogynistic and without any proof. Welcome to white males in the Republican Party. Okay. Comparing Kamala Harris to Donald Trump. Is this as close as the polls seem to lead us to believe? Is Kamala Harris really that close to Trump? Or is this drama that's being made up? Nightmare. Stress, anxiety. Somebody's stressing out over this. Crossed with the Devil card. My favorite card for Donald Trump. And the Four of Wands. I may not get if it's as close as that. Like, I don't think this is like corporate media going, oh my God, what are we going to do? I think this is Donald Trump is up at nights wondering, oh my God, what am I going to do? This is like Trump and his team. They don't have an answer for her right now. Their answer is going to have to be the debates. And he's not going to do very well in the debates. Now, I said the same thing about Biden, but Harris is not Biden. He's also, I think Trump is really stressed out because if he doesn't win this election, there's prison waiting for him. Two of Wands. He didn't see, here's the other stressor. He did not see this coming. Absolutely did not see this coming. He picked J.D. Vance. No, not under the assumption that Joe Biden was going to be the Democratic candidate. It's a reasonable conclusion. But now things changed. It's now the Kamala Harris show, not the Biden show. And the election is grinding forward. He doesn't have a plan. He doesn't know what to do. And he's stressing out over this. He's trying to change the narrative. You know, having Netanyahu come on over, Orban when Orban was over, trying to say he's not going to debate Kamala Harris. He's trying anything he can to change the news cycle, but the news cycle for the past week has pretty much been Kamala Harris. People enthusiastic about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris fundraising $200 million in a couple of days. You know, record fundraising. Harris polls coming out, Bloomberg Harris polls saying that Harris is neck and neck, if not ahead of Donald Trump in battleground states. You know, Trump had his, between picking J.D. Vance and somebody taking a shot at him and Biden dropping out, he had all these little victories going on here, but the news cycle changed and it ripped it away from him. And he's trying to figure out a way to get back in the news cycle. The other thing is Kamala Harris is riding high right now. And things are looking good for him, good for her, which is stressing him out. The lesson to be learned is the Ten of Swords. His whole strategy was to take out Biden. And he felt he was going to be victorious against Biden. He felt he was going to take Biden out. I disagree. I think Biden would have done fine. However, that strategy doesn't work against Kamala Harris. He is stressed out because he sees the writing on the wall. Oh, jeez. And again, if he does not get elected, he's got justice staring at him. And we have a court case. The New York criminal trial, the sentencing got delayed, but it's set for September 18th. We are less than 2 months away. We're about 6 weeks away from Judge Merchan having Donald Trump's butt in a courtroom in mid-September. Mind you, people are starting to vote by like the end of September. So Trump could be sentenced to some prison time by the time people are voting. Does that mean that Trump will be in prison during the votes? Probably not. Probably not. There'll probably be a delay. Am I going to read on it? Maybe I'll do a little four-carter as a prelude. It's 6 weeks out. It's way too early to read on it. Because, you know, if I read on it now, I'll probably read on it like a couple of times. Certainly within 2 weeks, I'm going to want to read on it. Within a week, I'm going to want to read on it. Within a day, like the night before, I'm going to want to read on it. So, is there a lot served by reading on it now? Not really. Little four-carter. Is Trump? How worried is Trump that he's going to go to prison or be sentenced to prison by Judge Merchan in September? Let's look at that energy around Judge Merchan and Trump's anxiety about this sentencing here. Is Trump worried that he's going to be sentenced to some prison time by Judge Merchan? Little four-carter. We'll just get a kind of a high-level vibe to it. Five of Wands. The Drunken Hillbilly Brawl card. Mayhem, chaos. I would say there's a lot of anxiety going on with this. Trump trying to keep himself busy. There's a lot of energy around this. What do we got? We got the 10 of coins. Right around that time, it's funny. Right around that time is when Trump can start even selling his Truth Social stock to make a bunch of money here. the high priestess. We also have that 13-year-old girl who was 13 years old in the 90s, who's 30-something years old now, with that sexual assault, the rape lawsuit against him. Two of Wands, planning, and there's the devil card again. I think he's going to try... Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Here's what he's thinking right now. He's got to rile people up. He needs to rile people up. Getting shot at was the greatest thing ever. Huge, got his people riled up like a hornet's nest. Got him a lot of money. So the problem is it riled him up in the beginning mid-July. And he needs them riled up in September. How are you going to keep them riled up for 2 full months? It's like this great opportunity wasted because you got the bees all swarming out of the beehive, but the guys who want them to sting aren't around. They're not going to be around for a while. Looking at the Judge Mershon thing, yeah, he wants people active. He wants people. I'm not seeing a lot of incarceration concerns here. What I'm seeing is a plan. He knows he needs to get people riled up. This is what's worked for him before. His legacy, is on the line. Not only is he, up for hundreds of millions of dollars of fines, but his whole legacy is on the line with this campaign finance reform. Oh, and of course, you got Stormy Daniels here too, right? She spilled all the tea on this. And there's more to come. He's got the other 3 court cases. They've been delayed, and one's been dismissed, and 2 have been delayed, but the one that's been dismissed is going to be appealed. I think mid-September is going to be a really busy time for him because there's also Judge Chutkan. You've got Judge Chutkan coming on. Again, we got the devil card right here. So I think in September, you've got Judge Mershon doing stuff, but then Trump's going to be... okay. Trump's going to be talking... Now we're going to be talking about the January 6th insurrection with Judge Chutkan overseeing that. And they're going to show the connection with Trump on this because all the evidence is going to be presented. And it's being presented weeks before people are voting. We're talking mid-September, and voting is beginning in November. So you've got about 6 weeks of voting that's going to be going on. Probably voting within 2 weeks of that. That would be beginning of October for early voters, overseas voters, and stuff like that. So timing-wise, things are not looking great for Trump because of the Supreme Court giving him absolute immunity. This means that Judge Chutkan needs to hold hearings to figure out what were his presidential duties and which weren't. So you got to put all the evidence out there for people to see. You have Judge Mershon, who's going to be sentencing Trump, who has shown no remorse for what he's done. He went out, he was attacking everybody in the court. He was being disrespectful to the court officers. He was being extremely disrespectful to the jury. Would not stand up before they walked in. Would not stand up when the jury got up to leave. And was falling asleep in court. Stuff like this is not going to get Trump probation. I would still love it if he just gave a month consecutive sentences for all his violations of the gag order. I think that would be glorious instead of this $10,000 stuff. Sorry. Every time you violate it, you get a month. We'll make it consecutive. At least he'd get 10 months of prison for that. Have fun in Rikers. So Trump's worried. He's worried because he can see that there's a lot of justice and accountability that's coming his way. Okay? I'll just leave it there. More to come. It's going to be a crazy summer. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.